The empty space in the room you're sitting in right now is not empty. That's not a metaphor. It's a measurement. And once you understand what's actually in it, the phrase everyone in this space keeps using, the field, stops being mystical and starts being useful. You've heard the word. The field, the divine matrix, the quantum field, source. 6 different books, 6 different names, all gesturing at the same thing, and understanding what it is can be challenging. So today we're doing 2 things. First, what the field actually is, the real claim, with the real limits. Then the part you might be really interested in, what you do with it. Because there's a method here. 7 steps, and they're not mine. They belong to a woman who ran the experiments. Here's the cost of the vague version. If the field is just a nice way of saying everything's connected, it can't do anything for you. It's decoration. But if it's a physical claim, a claim about what's actually in the space between things, then it has consequences, and one of them is a method. And most people never get there, because the popular version overclaims so badly that anyone with a physics background bails in the first minute. I don't want to do that to you. So I'm going to give you the strong version and tell you exactly where it stops. By the end of this, you'll be able to say what the field is in 1 sentence. You'll know which parts are measured and which parts are interpretation. And you'll have a 7-step practice you can run tonight, in a chair, with nothing but your own attention. This is Lynne McTaggart. She's a journalist, not a physicist, and that turns out to matter, because her job was to go and collect the scattered lab results nobody had assembled into one picture. Her sentence for what she found is this: human beings and all living things are a coalescence of energy, in a field of energy connected to every other thing in the world. The physical claim underneath it is called the zero-point field. Cool a patch of space to absolute zero, take out every particle, every scrap of heat, and there's still energy left in it. Particles never fully stop. Heisenberg said they can't. So there's always what McTaggart calls residual jiggling. She describes it as an ocean of microscopic vibrations in the space between things, a quantum sea of light. That's real physics. It's in the textbooks. Nothing controversial has happened yet. The controversy starts later, and I'll tell you exactly when we cross that line. Now the second claim, and this is the one that changes how your day feels. It comes from David Bohm, a physicist serious enough that Einstein called him a protégé. Bohm's idea is called the implicate order. In the implicate order, the totality of existence is enfolded within each region of space and time. Read that again. The totality, enfolded in every region. He points at the word itself. Implicit comes from the verb to implicate, which means, literally, to fold inward. Each region contains a whole structure folded up inside it. His picture for it is a hologram. If you were to break a holographic plate into pieces, the fragments aren't pieces of the picture. You actually get the whole picture in every fragment. Bohm's words. The form and structure of the entire object is enfolded within each region, and when you shine light on any region, it unfolds again, which gives us the sentence this entire video is built on. If the whole is folded into every part, then every possibility, every version of the thing you want, is already present, not waiting to be built, already here, folded up, in the room with you. Michael Talbot, who spent a book translating Bohm for people like us, put it at its most vivid. We could find the Andromeda Galaxy in the thumbnail of our left hand. That's Talbot's image, not Bohm's, but it's the right one. Okay, here's the part where most videos about the field quietly lie to you, and I'm going to do the opposite, early, on purpose, before I ask you to believe anything else. You've heard that particles behave differently when you observe them. True. You've heard that means your consciousness is shaping matter. That is not what the experiment shows. Philip Ball is a science writer at Nature, and he gives the working definition. Measurement now means strong interaction with the environment, strong enough that the quantum state could be deduced from the imprint it left, whether or not anybody actually does the deducing. And then, the sentence that settles it. And it is a theory that awards no privileged status to the conscious observer. A dust grain does it. A stray photon does it. You are not special to the equation. The mechanism is called decoherence, and Bohl's image for it is a drop of ink in water. We can no longer piece together a superposition, much as we can't reconstitute that ink droplet. The ink still exists, every molecule of it. It's just no longer meaningful to talk about a droplet, and it is fast. Bohl calls decoherence probably the most efficient process known to science. A protein-sized molecule in air holds its quantum behavior for about 10 to the minus 19 seconds. Your neurons take milliseconds to fire. That's a gap of roughly 16 orders of magnitude. So, that's the mainstream case. Now let me give the other side its best shot, in its own words, because there is a serious physicist on the other side of this. Amit Goswami taught quantum physics for decades, and he doesn't flinch. It must be us, our consciousness, that collapses the cat's wave function. And his argument for it is genuinely sharp. It goes like this. A particle is in superposition. A detector measures it, but the detector is also made of atoms, so it obeys quantum mechanics too. So now the detector is in superposition. Add another instrument and the same thing happens. Nothing physical ends the chain, because everything physical is quantum. So something non-physical has to. And what is that thing? Consciousness. It's a good argument. Here's the reply, and it's clean. Goswami's case works by elimination. Nothing material can stop the regress. Therefore, consciousness must. But decoherence is something material that stops it. Environmental interaction ends the chain, needs no observer, and predicts the exact timescales we measure. An elimination argument that hasn't eliminated its rival hasn't concluded anything. And there's a quieter piece of evidence. Leonard Susskind's textbook builds the whole of quantum mechanics: states, observables, measurement, entanglement, evolution. Consciousness never appears in it, not argued against, just never needed. A working textbook doesn't have to mention it, but I promised you honest, so here's the other edge. Decoherence explains why superpositions vanish and why we all agree on what we see. It does not explain why this outcome happened instead of that one. Bohl says it plainly. It can't get us to the most commonsensical feature of all. Why this, not that? Why are there facts of the world? Some physicists say collapse becomes a convenience rather than a necessity. Bohl notes most quantum researchers don't agree. So the question at the center of all of this is genuinely, currently open. That's not a weakness in the story. That's the story. And now, I have to tell you something almost every video in this space hides. Bohm and Goswami, the two physicists this whole worldview leans on, do not agree with each other. At all. Bohm is a realist. For him, the particle has a definite position whether or not anyone is looking, and the wave is an objectively real field out there in the world. He spent his career trying to restore the observer-independent reality that Goswami's whole project abolishes. Bohm even says it outright. We do not say that mind and body causally affect each other. Goswami says the opposite. Everything, including matter, exists in and is manipulated from consciousness. These are not two halves of one idea. They're a fork, and I think that's better than a tidy agreement. Two physicists, same equations, same experiments, opposite conclusions. And where they disagree is exactly where your life gets interesting. So here's what we take. From Bohm, every possibility already exists. That one's his, firsthand, and it doesn't need Goswami at all. From Goswami, the observer question, held as a live position, argued by someone who takes the objection head-on, not as settled fact. Entanglement is where connection stops being poetry. Susskind calls it the essential fact of quantum mechanics, and gives the sharpest version I've read. One can know everything about a system, and nothing about its individual parts. But here's the limit, and it is not a quibble, it's a theorem. Nothing that happens at Bob's end has any immediate effect on Alice's density matrix, Susskind writes, even when they're maximally entangled. It guarantees no faster-than-light signal was sent. Bohl says the same from the other side. Nothing Alice does determines what Bob sees. So entanglement genuinely supports the claim that separateness isn't fundamental. It does not support the idea that your intention travels across space and acts on something. Correlation, not a telephone line. And once you have the shape, you start seeing it everywhere, under different names. Michael Talbot called it the holographic universe, the whole present in every part. Karl Pribram found the same structure inside the skull, memory distributed rather than stored in one place. The brain is a hologram enfolded in a holographic universe. Radin took it into the lab and counted. The existential question, that some forms of psi exist, is for all practical purposes settled. Gregg Braden called it the divine matrix, the container that holds the universe, the bridge between all things, and the mirror that shows us what we have created. Cool. Itzhak Bentov went to vibration. Matter, being made of quanta of energy, is the vibrating, changing component of pure consciousness. And Bruce Lipton found the receiver in your own body. The identity receptors on a cell's outer membrane, working as antennas, downloading signals from the environment. Any one of those is its own video. So tell me in the comments, which one do you want next? I'll make the one that gets asked for most. So put the two halves together, and you get the sentence that changed how I think about all of this. If every possibility already exists, Bohm's claim, not the mystical one, then changing your reality isn't creation at all. You're not building something that doesn't exist. You're selecting from a set that already does, and that changes the job completely. It turns effort into aim, which is why the method that follows isn't about wanting harder. Nobody selects a channel by shouting at the television. You select by pointing precisely, and everything in the next 5 minutes is about how to point. Lynne McTaggart didn't just write about this. She ran controlled group intention experiments, and in her first one, focused intention measurably lowered biophoton emissions in algae and plants. Her experiment, her result, no independent replication yet. But she published the protocol, and it's this. Choose your intention space. One consistent place. She says an enjoyable refuge, somewhere you can sit quietly. Cushions, a candle, whatever makes it yours. The point is that it's the same place every time. 2. Power up. Sit upright, hands on your knees, and breathe slowly through the nose and out through the mouth, with the in-breath the same length as the out-breath. Belly relaxes, then pull it back slowly as if you were trying to touch your own spine. Hold one anchor, the breath, a word, a piece of repetitive music, to keep the chattering mind quiet. 20 minutes or more. And this is where I need to be careful with a word. Coherence. In physics, coherence is a technical property, and as we saw, it dies in fractions of a fraction of a second in anything warm. Your brain is warm. So when this practice talks about coherence, it doesn't mean quantum coherence. It means ordered attention, a mind pointing one direction instead of 40. That's measurable, it's real, and it does everything the method needs. It doesn't need to borrow authority from physics, and the moment it tries, it becomes refutable. 3. Mindfulness. Clear moment-to-moment awareness of what's happening inside you and around you. Observe as precisely as you can whatever shows up, and this is the part people skip, with no judgment and no reference point. In her words, there is no better or worse. 4. And this is the step that surprised me most. Merge with the other. Establish an empathetic connection with whatever your intention is for. Focus on your heart sending light to it. Imagine white light radiating outward, and send may all others be well out in widening circles, ending, she says, with the people you actively dislike. Get inside your loved one's shoes. 5. State the intention, and state it in the present tense, framed as a wish that has already been achieved. Not my back will stop hurting. My lower back and sacrum are free of all pain. And be specific. Her instruction is highly specific and directed, and the more detailed, the better. Who, what, when, where, why, how. All 6. A vague intention is a vague aim, and we already established this is an aiming problem. 6. The mental dry run. Visualize the outcome with all 5 senses, in real time. Not a photograph of the thing, the experience of it as already existing. If it's healing, she says, feel the feeling of being pain-free and electrically alive. 7. Move aside. And this is the one everybody gets wrong, because it sounds like giving up. Enter into a zone where you relax your sense of I, she writes, and you sense a merging with the object of your intention and the field. Frame the intention, state it clearly, then let go of the outcome. Move your own ego aside. You are, in her word, a conduit, which, if you watch the video on Florence Scovel Shinn, is the same instruction she gave 100 years ago under a different name, non-resistance. What you resist persists. Same move, different century. Now notice what just happened. Every one of those 7 steps is about ordering your attention. None of them require a single contested claim about physics to be true. The stillness, the specificity, the release, those work on their own terms. So here's where we've landed. The field is a physical claim. There is energy in what looks like emptiness, and that's measured, not imagined. Bohm's implicate order says the whole is folded into every part, so nothing you want has to be built from scratch. And the observer question is genuinely open. 2 serious physicists, same evidence, opposite answers. But you don't need that question settled to use any of this, because the reframe holds either way. You are not building a new reality. You are selecting one that already exists, and everything in that method, the stillness, the specificity, the letting go, is just learning how to aim. So run it tonight. 1 chair, 1 place, 20 minutes, 1 clearly stated thing, and then the hardest part, which is putting it down. And tell me below, of everything here, which part do you actually believe? The measured physics, the selection reframe, or the observer claim? I want to know where you land. Then go watch the one on Florence Scovel Shinn. She got to step 7 a century before anyone had the physics for it. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you'd like us to cover next. And check out our website, thedeepsynthesis.com, where we go deeper on every topic, plus a free convergence map waiting for you.